RadGoon.
There you are. Welcome home. Ha ha ha.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Or should I say welcome home? Either way, oh my god, do we have a lot to cover in this video. You thought Wally was creepy before? Well, guess what? The whole neighborhood is back and better than ever. We got new audio, new theories, and a giant pair of eyes watching our every move. We have a lot to talk about. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first things first, I want to talk about the homepage. Do you notice anything different? Well, me neither. Until we zoom out a little bit, and we see that we're now being watched by these two previously mentioned giant eyes on either side of the screen. And upon further inspection, they appear to be none other than Wally's eyes. Here's a side-by-side just to give you a better visual. Does this mean that Wally's growing stronger? There is a general running theme of being watched throughout the whole website, but nothing quite like this before. This is different. But you know, we'll touch back on Wally growing stronger a little bit later in the video. As you might have guessed, this isn't the only massive update though. This is actually only the beginning. The only other thing is that the other secrets aren't as obvious. Many of them actually come in the form of hidden clickable links that are scattered all over the website. And these links appear as clickable flowers and hearts that are drawn on the screen by Wally himself if you stick around long enough. When you click these images, they will all take you to a new tab, all of which have two things in common. One being a very creepy, borderline nonsensical message from Wally himself.
I have more eyes than I did before. You know how to draw eyes. You draw mine many times. I know it is thanks to you, neighbor, that I can see, but it is still I can't see.
And two, this black and red spinning record, which to me kind of looks like an eye. All of these links on the main page are visually exactly the same, except for one. That's right, you guessed it, it's time to check in on our old friend, Home. As we take a stroll through the neighborhood, we see that everything seems to be in order. Home's still watching over everybody, same creepy black goo leaking from under the front door, same horrifying image of Wally doing some sort of ritual to Home. But what's this? This is new. It's a spiral, and it seems to be leading somewhere. If we follow the trail and click at the bottom of the page, we get a final audio recording from Home. Do you notice anything about the audio though? Just in case you missed it, behind the sounds of furniture moving and doors swinging, we can actually hear a steady heartbeat. The same heartbeat that can be heard in the background of many of Wally's recordings to us. In my opinion, this supports the theory that Wally really isn't as in charge of this whole mystery as we may think that he is. Home is always listening and watching over him, just like he is with all the other neighbors in the neighborhood. You might even say that Home's controlling Wally almost like a puppet. Don't believe me yet? There's more proof.
But wait! There's more!
On top of all of that, there is one more thing that all of these links have in common that I haven't mentioned yet. That is a singular word and the URL of each of these links, which, very similar to the recordings themselves, seem to be kind of scrambled and nonsensical. For example, I, neighbor, and you. But here's where it gets really interesting. If we take a look at all of the random URL words together, you can actually piece together a sentence which says, I will help you understand, neighbor. I will find a way soon. It seems almost as though Wally really wants to tell us something, but he can't. Pretty creepy, right? Well, as usual, it gets worse. When we listen to the audio from those URLs in the same order that we have already rearranged them into, things start to come together more and we can actually hear a comprehensive message from Wally.
There you are. Welcome home. Ha ha ha. You're the most. Ha ha ha. You're so still. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? To hear me again? Ha ha ha. I think that means you can hear me. Can you see me? That's okay if you can't. Don't worry. I know you're there. You know I'm here too. I will talk to you. Do you like home? Home is my house. Do you have a home too? Do you hear it too? You can hear mine. Do you like to draw? I do. Do you know how to draw an eye? First, you draw a circle, then draw a smaller circle inside, then color it in. That's what an eye looks like. My eyes are black. What color are yours? I can't hear you. Do you know who I am? We've looked into each other's eyes so many times. You're looking at me now. I have more eyes than I did before. You know how to draw eyes. You draw mine many times. I know it is thanks to you, neighbor, that I can see. But it is still, I can't see. Why won't you answer me, neighbor? Why can't I hear you? You know me. You do. Please open. Let me in.
Let me in.
It seems to be a one-sided conversation between Wally and someone else. Someone who already knows him. But who? Is it you? Stick around and we'll figure it out. The Playfellow Exhibition, the newest addition to the Welcome Home website. And to be honest, at first glance, it doesn't seem to hold much information. I think the most notable thing that we'll see at first is this caption at the top that mentions somebody called the question answerer. The next notable thing on this tab is the picture wheel towards the bottom of the page. This has many pictures that we've seen before, but plenty of new things too, such as footage of someone using the Welcome Home telephone toy, which was supposedly sold as merch for this series. And also this worksheet for children, which asks, who is the funniest neighbor? With the answer being Barnaby. Who shines brighter than any star? Sally. Who is the biggest chicken? Poppy. Which neighbor speaks to the flowers? Julie. And who is your best friend? Which we all know the answer, of course, Wally. Now, this simple worksheet could be overlooked as nothing more than a photo stuck up on the page, but little do you know, this worksheet holds the key to some of the deepest and darkest lore that Welcome Home has to offer. After some further investigation and clicking around this page, there seems to be nothing else out of the ordinary with the Playfellow Exhibition, until you realize that the word answer in this specific spot is actually a clickable link. This link takes us to where we see this frantic, kind of jumbled writing on this piece of paper. It seems to be talking about a code or a password of some sort, but if you click the screen again, you're taken to this image of a colorful safe with keys representing the different characters on the show. And with one more click, this is where we start to dive into the back rooms of the website, if you will, the guest area. Now this is where the worksheet from before comes back into play. It was discovered that if you take the first letters from each answer on the worksheet, being B, S, P, J, W, and enter them into the password box, the website will finally show its true colors. We're greeted with a wall of text at strange angles, and what seems to be an entry from a crew member about literally having nightmares about Wally himself, which reads, I had a dream when I began working on the Playfellow Exhibition. Wally Darling was sitting at the foot of my bed with a rotary phone in front of him, ringing away. It looked just like the little toy phone we were restoring for the exhibit. It kept ringing. Wally stared at me like he was waiting for me to pick up the phone, just staring, unblinking. The phone ringing and ringing. I couldn't move. I couldn't figure out how to move and pick up the phone. He kept waiting. I couldn't pick up the phone. I keep getting phone calls now. Or at least I assume that's what's happening. I keep hearing it ringing, all day sometimes. I check my phone and there's no new messages. I thought maybe some of the site staff were pranking me, but I tore up the workspace and couldn't find another phone that might be ringing. All that there was were the toys for the exhibit, and obviously those couldn't be ringing, but I kept hearing it anyway. The phone ringing and ringing. The more I work, the more questions I have. Why didn't any of the site staff I worked for remember the show? Even the ones who grew up in the 70s? Why can't I find any files on the Playfellow workshop? Why isn't there a single TV guide saying what network or time the show was on? I keep digging and digging. I've pored over every recovery the WHRP has given me access to, every inch of their website, and the things I find make less and less sense. If I didn't know any better, I'd say everyone was coming together to pull an elaborate prank on me. I can still hear the phone ringing now. I don't know how to answer the phone. I need to answer the phone. That's right, this man is literally starting to have nightmares about Wally that are translating into his real life. It seems to be driving him crazy. The next thing of note is the fact that the entire page seems to be covered in some type of pulsating mold, almost as if some sort of evil entity is starting to take over and spread like an infection. And when we scroll a little further down, we're greeted with yet another photo wheel. This time, it's a little less pleasant. Once again, we see more reoccurring themes of swirls, eyes, and strangely enough, do not touch signs. Interesting. We get more of a clue as to what this means as we see this note to staff about a strange substance that has been growing on the artwork. And I quote, "If a substance begins to grow on anything delivered, please place it back in the box it was shipped in and return it to us at your leisure. If you or anyone on your team experiences nausea, dizziness, or fatigue, please don't be alarmed." And this was clearly not taken seriously by what we can tell from, well, everything. But more specifically, we can see some sort of black ink or goo smeared on this glove that's just laying on the table, which is, now that I think of it, very similar to the same black goo that's oozing out from underneath of Holmes' front door. We can also see the same black substance smeared on this piece of artwork and completely covering the walls, most likely from the man who was having nightmares about Wally tearing up the office in a panic to find answers about what's been happening to him, spreading the substance even more in the process. Now, there's a theory that this black substance is actually connected to a line from the original FAQ page, which says,
"I read the first letter. I felt it. I heard it. Open, open, open. I want to know. I'm going to get it out."
So is Wally connected to this disease? Is Wally the it in the equation? Is the black goo the reason that the man was having nightmares about Wally? Well, both of them were exposed to the black ink. So I think yes. I think our friend Wally is much more powerful than we originally thought. And it seems that he's only going to grow stronger. Now, if you still need more proof, well, do you remember how we were able to rearrange the audio messages from Wally into one coherent sentence? Well, we never quite figured out who he was talking to, right? Well, now things start to come together a little bit more. If we take a look back at the entry from the man who had been having nightmares, Wally's message and his entry actually seemed to line up perfectly and fill in the blanks about who Wally was really talking to. Wally stared at me like he was waiting for me to pick up the phone, just staring, unblinking.
What are you waiting for?
I couldn't move. I couldn't figure out how to move and pick up the phone.
You're so still. What are you doing?
But is this the only way Wally is spreading his power? Actually, no. Now, remember the last few lines from our friend's entry. I can still hear the phone ringing now. I don't know how to answer the phone. I need to answer the phone. Well, this adds to yet another running theme of answering the phone, which I believe quite literally means answering the toy phone that the Welcome Home Restoration Project found as merch from the series. Wally is most likely spreading his power through the use of merchandise, more specifically the toy phone that we see pop up as merchandise throughout the website, and also the one the man mentions in his dream. Wally may need the power of all the people visiting his website, buying merch, and drawing fan art, along with the literal mysterious substance found in the office, to brainwash all of those who come into contact with him, to brainwash them into executing whatever evil plans he has in store.
Let me in.
But who do you think is truly in control here? Wally, Home, or maybe some other entity? That's still up for debate, but definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below and I'll react to them in the next video. And while you're at it, don't forget to check my other 2 videos that I've made covering Welcome Home, and I'll put them in the playlist at the end of the video. But that is all I have for Welcome Home for now, so if you enjoyed the video, if you could hit the thumbs up, the notification bell, or maybe even drop a subscription, that would be amazing. And I can't wait to see you guys next time because I have the feeling we are only scraping the tip of the iceberg with this Welcome Home series. But with that being said, that is all I have for now, so I will see you all next time. Bye.